Welcome to MMO Grinder Sidequest, where I take a look at early open or closed betas, subscription trials, and simpler titles, giving you a quick first impression. Today I'll be looking at Warhammer 40k Dark Nexus Arena, an action-styled MOBA currently in a pretty low-key invite-only alpha. There's a lot to improve upon here, but those looking forward to something like this might want to stay tuned to see how this is shaping up. It's pretty rough around the edges right now, so expect a lot of this to change. Also keep in mind that I know bubkiss about the Warhammer 40k series, so if that's what's got you looking into this video, you might want to try somewhere else. I have no idea what any of this stuff is. Graphically, something seems weird about this game. Like, the graphics are fine in parts, maps-wise especially, but something about animations and character models is very rough right now. Some characters are looking like they just came out of a cleaned-up version of Quake, and I'll assume that there'll be a lot more care put into this area, so I don't want to comment on it too much. Aesthetically, the overall theme is very dark and otherworldly. The dark in Dark Nexus Arena isn't a misnomer. Sound is also pretty loud at default, and something else I'd assumed would get fleshed out, but it's fun to hear various quips from the characters in battle. Gameplay is where I want to focus mostly here, as it's a core framework of something that we all know well by now, especially if you keep up with MOBAs, but unlike so many recent offerings, it has its own charm and style to set it apart. First off, despite using a creeps, towers, shops mentality, the game does not use click to move, instead going for a control style like Dead Island Epidemic, letting you move with WASD while assigning attacks to other buttons. Left and right click are their own style of attacks, while others are set to Q and E. You can also use space to dive roll out of enemy attacks. Much unlike Dead Island Epidemic, the only mode available at the moment isn't based around supply collection, point capture, or objective completion. It's pretty much a MOBA deathmatch, with points awarded to the team best able to kill the towers, jungle camps, and of course, each other. First to 100 points wins. You can strengthen yourself by upgrading the shop via the upgrade tree. Choose one style upgrade and it'll branch out to 3 options. Choose one of those to branch out to a couple more. The upgraded tiers cost a bit more, of course, but it's pretty easy to get the upgrade points if you have a good place to farm creeps. Another oddity is that allied creeps can be blocked by your movement as well, and they'll follow a very specific path. There's something oddly clunky feeling about this game at the moment. Movement is slowed greatly when you attack or charge attacks. I find attacking easy enough, but it doesn't have much of an impactful feeling at this moment. Playing as Mega Knob, my swats would feel ineffectual, and it was hard to tell if I was actually hitting the opponent or not, if I wasn't watching the damage numbers tick off. The Scout had an absurd amount of range when charged, but moved rather slowly when charging, but the short-range shots were hardly worth doing. This could all be easily part of the strategy, but rest assured, these things feel quite different from the norm. I only managed to play 2 or 3 games, as the closed invite and the event-only status of the game made finding matches quite random. There'd be times I was in queue for minutes before one came ready, others where I was in match the minute I clicked the button, and quite a few times where one person leaving the match queue would cause the entire thing to start over again. I also never managed to win a single match that I'd played. I don't think it was entirely my fault, but I tell myself the same thing when I'm playing Splatoon. Overall, it's still too early to call anything about this game at the moment, especially not being a Warhammer 40k fan. There's promise here, and another MOBA-style game that doesn't Xerox Dota is always a welcome sight. Let's just hope that we see some more variety in the coming months before this one starts heading into prime time. This has been an MMO Grinder Sidequest, and it's time I logged out.